Although the US has opened its borders to international travel from today, it doesn't mean anyone who's vaccinated can go. The country will accept any vaccine approved for regular or emergency use by the US Food and Drug Administration or the World Health Organization. That includes Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca and China's Sinopharm and Sinovac vaccines. But it doesn't include Russia's Sputnik jab, which means millions of people in 70 countries still can't travel to the US, including almost 1 million people from Hungary, one of only 2 EU countries to adopt the Russian vaccine. Obviously, those passengers who've received the Sputnik vaccine are not happy about the measures as they're unable to travel at the moment. Those travellers are saying they really hope the situation will change and that the US will accept the Sputnik vaccine. Russia unveiled Sputnik with much fanfare as the world's first registered vaccine in August 2020. Rather than wait for alternatives, many Hungarians accepted the vaccine back in April when the pandemic was raging across Europe and the globe. Moscow has criticised the US decision to leave it off its list of approved shots. I thought I'd ask for Sputnik quickly because people were dying en masse. I couldn't have known at the time that I wouldn't be able to travel. The WHO is still reviewing the Russian vaccine, but it's uncertain when it might receive an emergency use listing.
Ronald Reagan used to reassure his countrymen by telling them it was morning in America. Well, for European travelers, this is the first American morning. It's the first morning you can travel to the United States without all the pandemic-related restrictions that basically closed down the United States to European tourism for just about 21 months. During all that time, hotels were empty, shops, tills were not ringing, and it was a tough business year in cities like New York. After the restrictions were lifted by the U.S. State Department, hoteliers, restaurants, tour operators, airlines reported increases in search traffic and bookings ranging from 800 to 1,000%. If you want to come from Europe to the United States, starting now, all you need is proof of vaccination. One of the nationally approved vaccines, check the State Department website for which ones are included in that list, and if you could travel here visa-free to begin with, you can do it now. You're in. There's no need for a PCR test right before boarding the airplane, no confirmed negative on a COVID test before you travel. Now, here's one way to think of it. It's a big country with a big tourist market. Europeans only represented 3% of American tourism overall, but in the big gateway destinations for Europeans, like New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, and Boston, Europeans represented 15% of the market. So they'll be ringing cash registers. The expectation of better business in cities like New York, well, starting this morning.